This week on Movie Mash, I have taken the synopsis of one movie and have rewritten it using conventions and expectations of a completely different genre. The Shining is an innovative and immersive psychological horror. Psychological horrors are a subgenre of horror. They, 1, focus on characters with an unstable or disturbed psychological state, and 2, unsettle the audience by challenging them or confusing them with the plot. Because most of the time, the characters themselves question their perception of reality and question their sanity. Or just as worse, they're surrounded by other characters who are psychologically disturbed. Here's what The Shining is about. IMDb says... A family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences... blah, 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 blah. You get that? A family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences the father into violence while his psychic son sees horrific forebodings from both past and future. But JC, how will you turn The Shining into a romance? A romance. Firstly, what is a romance? What is a romance? What is a romance? It is a genre wherein the plot revolves around the love between two people. Sometimes it is written with dual protagonists, where both characters work towards a similar goal, share an equal amount of screen time, and embark on internal and external journeys of equivalent stakes. Other times it is between a protagonist and antagonist, where one character is more central. We spend more screen time with them, and they have the furthest to go emotionally and or physically regarding their character arc. The love interest should also embark on an inner or outward journey to culminate change. Still, they are crafted in such a way that they provide the greatest conflict to accelerate the protagonist's character arc. For this exercise, I will dabble in the latter version and have a protagonist and antagonist. That was a terrible wink. What sort of laugh was that, JC? So, some romance tropes include a love triangle, a secret billionaire, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, stuck together, forbidden love, second chance, soulmates, fake relationship. Looking at this list, I already see 3 tropes that I can lean into for my version of The Shining. But more on these later. For now, I need to choose the type of romance I want to tell. Subgenres of romance include romance drama, romance comedy, historical romance, and paranormal romance. Did you get that? Paranormal romance was what I was trying to say. Some people might include chick flick as a genre, but I refuse to acknowledge that term because romance movies are for all, despite what patriarchy would have us believe. The Shining as a psychological horror is already creepy, so I could just turn up the switch and make it a paranormal romance. But for today's exercise, I'd like to focus on subtlety and attempt a romance drama. A romance drama? Oh, hi, kitty. A romance drama typically explores a complex obstacle that prevents the love between two people, and often ends with the lovers separating, but not always. To help me, I'm going to take some inspiration from someone who has flexed their writing muscle in the romance drama genre. Romance drama genre, romance drama genre, romance drama genre. In the romance drama genre. Nicholas Sparks has made us cry, weep, sob, and every other term that describes a tear rolling down your face. In particular, I want to look at these things. The use of secondary relationships to draw parallels to the central relationship. How subplots with children explore the themes of the main story. How the inclusion of children raises the stakes for the climax. So let's begin. Jack Torrance and his wife, Wendy, and their son, Danny, arrive at the Overlook Hotel for a winter holiday. Upon check-in, Jack reveals to the manager that this holiday is so he and his wife can reconnect for the sake of their son. The manager wishes him luck by telling him about another guest, Mr. Grady, who rekindled his relationship with his wife and 2 children in this very building last winter.
That is quite a story.
Already, I have established the second chance trope. Will Jack and Wendy reconnect and find their happy ending? Hello?
Hi, babe.
You'll just have to keep watching to find out. Watch to find out. Also, I want to lean into the stuck together trope. As they are on holiday in a remote winter getaway, there is nowhere for the adults to hide. They must face their problems front on, head on, straight on. However, Danny is not excited to be at the hotel.
It'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
He daydreams about his parents' breakup and faints. Somebody call the doctor! Nothing like this has ever happened to Danny before, and Wendy wonders if he has noticed the tension between her and Jack and that's what caused him to faint.
I'm quite sure there's nothing physically wrong with Danny.
Yeah?
Wendy confesses to the doctor that her husband lost his job and they are here so he can write the novel he's always dreamed of doing. She is here to decide if she wants a divorce. Not sure if she loves Jack anymore.
Just one of those things, you know.
Wendy is pleasantly surprised to learn the head chef, Halloran, is her high school sweetheart. Boom! Just like that, I have seeded a love triangle. Wendy keeps their shared history hidden from Jack, not wanting him to further upset Danny before a decision has been made. Danny is aware of his parents' struggle and asks Halloran if there's anything that he can do that might save his parents' marriage. Halloran explains that his parents love him, no matter the outcome of their relationship, and encourages Danny to let the adults sort things out for themselves. Jack endeavours to spend time with his family, convinced he and Wendy are on the right track. However, while Jack writes his novel, Wendy slips to the kitchen to see Halloran. She confides to Halloran about her failing marriage, and it's obvious to her, even after all these years, she still has feelings for Halloran. But she will not act on these feelings because she does not want to jeopardize anything for Danny's sake. Meanwhile, Danny befriends the Grady sisters. They decide to help him save his parents' marriage just like they saved their parents' marriage last winter. In the longest ride, the young couple, Luke and Sophia, learn about another couple, Ruth and Ira, and how they met and fell in love. The hardships Ruth and Ira experienced in the 1940s provide guidance and inspiration to Luke and Sophia today, and ultimately bring the main couple together by the end of the movie. So I'd like the Grady sisters to recount stories of their parents' reconciliation presented in childlike flashbacks. It will give Danny something to help his parents to aspire to and give the audience a taste of the possible outcome. It also gives Danny a project. He wants it, so the audience wants it too. Like in the last song, Jonah and his father rebuild the stained glass window. For Jonah, this activity marks their perfect summer together, but the story's greater theme is showing the audience what Ronnie, the protagonist, will miss out on with her father if she does not allow him back into her life. The inclusion of the stained glass window also provides an emotional slap in the face later when things don't go to plan, but more about that soon. However, remember the Grady sisters may not be the most reliable storytellers. So much so they convinced Danny to tell Jack about Wendy's history with Halloran. Jack, once learning this truth, challenges Wendy on her commitment to fixing their relationship for Danny.
Oh, come on, hon. Don't be so grouchy.
I'm not being grouchy.
Wendy apologizes for keeping Jack in the dark about Halloran and promises to try to make things work. So she warns Halloran to stay away for the sake of her son. In any romance, a midpoint is usually where a connection is made or deepened. Usually, it is a physical connection too. It raises the stakes for the characters involved, thus increasing the audience's investment in the outcome of their relationship. Wendy finds Jack screaming during a nightmare. She wakes him, and Jack confesses he dreamt Wendy left and took Danny with her.
The most horrible dream I ever had.
It's okay now.
Jack can't imagine a world without his son. Overcome with pity and compassion for her husband, Wendy and Jack make love. There is a brief period where everything seems perfect between Jack and Wendy. They have romantic strolls through the hedge maze and laze about and have breakfast in bed. Cute little Danny believes his parents will be together forever, just like the Gradys. Except Halloran witnesses their relationship with jealousy. He steals Wendy aside to confess his love for her. I love you. Wendy feels pressured to choose between keeping her family together and Halloran, the person she truly loves. But Danny witnesses this conversation between them because he's everywhere, like kids are. He wants to help in his father's favour. So spurred on by the Grady sisters and the stories he's heard about their parents, he tells Jack,
Dad,
"What?
you would never be upset with Mommy, would you?
What do you mean? Did your mother say something to you?"
Not to me, Dad.
"You can tell me. I love you so much. I'd never be upset with you." Heartbroken by this, Jack wanders into the hotel bar.
How are things going, Mr. Torrance?
Things could be better, Lloyd. Things could be a whole lot better.
With a drink in hand, he pines over what could possibly be the end of his marriage. Wendy searches for Jack and is disappointed to find him drunk, implying this is the behaviour that caused his current unemployment. Danny hears this. Is what he wants for his parents actually hurting them? This is the loss of innocence moment where Danny's childlike view of the world is flipped upside down. This also happens to Jonah when he learns his dad is terminally ill. The goal of finishing the stained glass window seems impossible. On a thematic level, Jonah knows their perfect summer has ended and there will never be another like it. For Ronnie, her time with her father is running out. That's when we get this heart-wrenching performance.
Stay away! I can do it! Me and Dad have been working on this all summer. All you cared about was the stupid turtles. Your stupid boyfriend. I was with him every day. Now I can't arrange things and I need to finish this so Dad will get better.
Can you show us?
Therefore, Danny puts his wish aside and asks Halloran to help. Halloran arrives to comfort a shaken Wendy. She tells him she's not ready for another relationship. Meanwhile, Jack encounters Mr. Grady.
Grady?
Yes, sir.
Delbert Grady.
Mr. Grady reveals he regrets staying in his marriage just for his children. He overheard Jack's conversation with his wife at the bar and pleads for Jack to let the current idea he has of his family go so they can find a dynamic that works best for them. But Jack refuses. As I mentioned earlier, Nicholas Sparks has a talent of upping the stakes for the climax by putting children in life or death situations. In Safe Haven, as Katie tries to fight off Kevin, Alex saves Lexi from the burning store. It provides the greatest amount of drama and action. And anxiety for the audience because no one wants to see a sweet kid die. And it also serves the story's overarching theme. So, in my version of The Shining, Jack returns to find Wendy packing her things. Jack asks Wendy to stay. Wendy confesses what she really wants is to know herself again. The greatest gift she can give her child as a mother is her happiness. But until then, she understands what Danny means to Jack, so she will leave Danny with him. Jack has an outburst, distraught about losing his family, and storms off. Danny is so upset that his mother is leaving, he escapes through the window and flees into the maze in freezing cold temperatures. Jack and Wendy desperately try to find him before it's too late. While searching for his son, Jack finally admits his mistake. Mr. Grady was right. Trying to reconnect with his wife for his son's sake has only put his son in danger. Now he could lose Danny forever. Jack finds Danny just in time. He reunites Danny with his mother, accepting that he must let his family go. Jack watches Halloran drive his family away from him and away from the hotel. This is not an ending, but a new beginning. It was so heavy and so dramatic. Until the next smash. Bye. Expectation. If you want to learn about another subgenre, if you want to learn about another subgenre of horror, then check out this video. See, look, it's me. Check it out. Go watch it.